So today we're going to talk about, first of all, why right now is the right time to invest in real estate in Portugal. Then we're going to talk about the strategies that the investors are doing. And there are a lot of ways to start investing in Portugal. And this is what we're going to talk about in this panel. After that, we're going to talk about the financing for Israeli investors. It doesn't matter if you have the Portuguese citizenship or not, or if you have any European citizenship or not, as we're going to see. And then finally, we're going to show you a few hotspots areas. This is developing areas, emerging areas that are really interesting right now because the prices per square meter are still low and they are growing really fast. We want you all to participate, so feel free to send us any questions you have in the chat, and we're going to answer to everything at the end, okay? So the speakers today are myself, Patrick, I'm Clive CEO, I'm a lawyer, and Felipe, my partner, he's an economist. So we are the founders and we have all the knowledge from the bureaucracy to financing and everything you're going to need during this process to invest in Portugal. And of course, we'll also have a team that I'm going to introduce to you after this slide. And basically, the company started 5 years ago by doing the Portuguese passports to Israeli clients. That's why most of our clients are from Israel. We had more than 7,000 clients doing the passport with us. And then soon after that, in 2021, we started to provide also the real estate consultancy service. So what we do is we provide a tailor-made solution from A to Z, 100% remote for clients that are living worldwide. So we have clients from Israel, Brazil, Dubai, United States, South Africa, UK, and so on. So we provide a customized advisory so that these clients they can invest in Portugal without even coming to Portugal. So the relationship is very based on trust. And as you're gonna see here, we developed this knowledge over the years, and that's why we are able to do all the process remotely without the client coming here. Of course, at the end of the day, all the decisions are made by the client, but we will provide the client with all the information he needs or she needs to finish and to conclude the investment. So we are basically an end-to-end partner, okay, that provides this remote property acquisition. We also do renovation and remodeling. And after that, we also do the management of the property. This is our team. We are in the market since 2020, and we have a proven track record of successful deals and satisfied clients worldwide. And we have a deep market knowledge all over the country. We have offices in Lisbon and in Porto. So this team that you see here is spread in the country. And if you talk to our current clients, you're going to see that our service is top one here in Portugal when we're talking about real estate investments. Those are some numbers we have. Until now, more than 13 million euros invested through us. The average yield the clients are having right now are in average 10% return. We have acquired more than 60 properties for our clients, and now we manage more than 50 properties for them. So the first panel is why right now is the right time to invest in real estate in Portugal. So basically, Portugal became very famous in the last 10 years because of a lot of laws and immigration benefits and also tax benefits that the government did to attract investors and people to live here. So we can talk about the visa. There are types of visa for entrepreneurs, for tech workers, and also people coming to retire in Portugal. So there are a lot of different kinds of visa, and this attracted, of course, a lot of people to come here to invest here and to live here. People, especially from the US, from Israel, from Brazil, from the UK, and so on. The cost of living here is much cheaper if you compare to Tel Aviv, to London, to the US, most of it. And that's why a lot of people are coming to invest here. Probably you are thinking, oh, now I lost the time to invest in Portugal, I lost the train. But no, actually, uh, there are a lot of developing areas close to the centers, and we're gonna show to you soon which areas are these. And these areas are still very affordable. You can still invest there in with a low price per square meter and get a very good return in the medium long term. So there is a huge culture and history in Portugal, um, and we have a great weather, which is especially good when we're talking about Europe. As I said, we should be in Tel Aviv right now, which has a much better weather, I would say. But here in Porto and in Lisbon and all Portugal, you can still find you can find a lot of different weathers, but all of them are really good. They're not extreme. It doesn't snow here, only in the mountains. And the during the summer, it's not so hot that people can die or some things like that. So it's pretty much in the middle, and that's why a lot of people are moving to Portugal because also the weather all the year long is very good. We have free access to healthcare. This is something that for people from the US, for instance, it's something that they cannot believe because it's much expensive in the US. And we have top universities. Portugal invests a lot in good universities, and there are a few that you probably heard of, like University of Porto, Nova University in Lisbon. So Portugal is investing a lot in universities, and that's why a lot of students and a lot of researchers and teachers are coming also to establish here. So all this environment is perfect for investors, expats, digital nomads, retired people, and international companies to establish here because of the visas, the tax benefits, and when I say tax benefits, I'm talking about the NHR, which is a tax benefit for people who bring their salary to Portugal. Right now, the government also approved a law that gives you tax exemption. If you are under 35 years old and you buy a house, you don't have to pay taxes. So this is bringing a lot of people from Europe to buy houses in Portugal as well. And the companies also have their benefits to come here and establish here. So basically, this is one of the reasons why the prices in Portugal they are not gonna lower in the near future. The property prices will keep rising in Portugal. This is all the experts. If you search online and if you hear all the experts in Portugal, they all are going to agree with that. And pretty much it's the simple economy, which is there are too much demand and too low supply, and the demand is getting higher every day, but the supply is not accompanying because to build takes a long time, and of course there are bureaucracies involved on that, and the land is not there are not so much land available. So when you see all these things happening in Portugal right now, all the people coming to establish here, to live here, and to invest here, of course the prices are going up because the houses are being more disputed between people. And but still, as I said, we're talking mainly about the great centers, but as you're gonna see here soon, there are a lot of developing areas, and this is where we believe the big opportunities are. There's another important thing which I just mentioned, but it's worth mentioning again, which is the government is doing a lot of tax benefits for young people to buy houses, for instance, and this is another reason why the prices are going up, and especially in the big centers. So those are some news that shows exactly what I'm saying here, which is the prices are going up and they will keep going up in the future. Uh, Also here you can see the luxury houses in Porto and in Lisbon are also growing very fast. And we have a lot of clients investing in luxury real estate in Portugal right now. But not only the luxury real estate, all the segments of the real estate market is growing because of all the environment I told you about. So the trends, as I said, are the price will keep increasing. One of the reasons why people are buying more houses now is because of the low interest rate. We are the Euribor right now, which is the interest rate in Europe, is at 2%, which is the lowest interest rate in the last 3 years. So this is another factor that will help to increase the prices. It's already happening actually. We did this webinar 2 3 months ago. Uh, we we said the same about the interest rate. At the time, it was close to 2.5, 2.6%. Now it's 2%. So you can imagine right now the real estate is even more heated because of the low interest rate. The houses for families, because right now, as I said, there are a lot of people coming to retire, to live here, to establish here. So these people need houses, and most of these people they like, especially people coming from the US, from Brazil, they usually like much bigger houses with garage for the cars, and more than 3 bedrooms usually for the kids and so on. So a few years ago, the biggest demand was especially for students, for people coming to study here, young workers. This is still happening, but right now there are more supply in this field. But the houses for families are not so easy to find. When we have a house here for that we manage and we put it for rent, especially houses with 100 square meters, 3 bedrooms, a garage, and so on, it's rented in the same week. And this shows you how the families are actively looking for houses to move to Portugal. And of course, the developing areas, and we're talking about the areas near Porto and Lisbon. So what are these areas? Where are these areas? They are usually in 40 minutes from the center of Lisbon and from the center of Porto. We chose here only three, in Lisbon and in Porto, to give you as an example. One of them is Setúbal, in the south of Lisbon, 35 minutes more or less by car, but there is also a train that takes you to the center of Lisbon. You have Costa da Caparica, which is between Lisbon and Setúbal. It's the coast with amazing beaches on the way. And this area is also growing very fast because it's really close to Lisbon and it's also close to the beach. And you have Oeiras, which is close to Cascais, and it's an area where a lot of people are buying real estate, especially luxury real estate, and a lot of families are going to establish there. In Porto, you have more or less the same idea, which is cities nearby around 30 minutes because Porto is a bit smaller. So you have Vila Nova de Gaia, which is the other side of the Douro River, Matosinhos, the beach city close to the airport, and Maia, which is let's say, the industrial city, also close to the airport, but in the north of Porto. So there are a lot of companies there, big companies there, and this area is growing also because of people who are coming to work in these fabrics and factories and so on. And this is really important here. The government right now, we had the election, and the party that was before won the election again. So they're gonna stay, and they actually won with more votes. So basically now they have even more power, let's say, to approve all of that they're doing. They are investing a lot in infrastructure. So they're gonna build a new airport in Lisbon that is gonna be much bigger than this one. The European Union is building a high-speed train between Porto, Lisbon, and also Madrid to Portugal and Vigo to Porto, and it's going to be much faster to connect between the cities. For instance, it's going to be possible to travel from Porto to Lisbon with this train with 1 hour and 15 minutes. So this type of train you see a lot in France and in Germany. Now the European Union is building the same here to connect Portugal and Spain, and also aiming the World Cup in 2030 that will be held here in Portugal and Spain. They are also in Porto. They are also building a new bridge with a new metro line that will connect Vila Nova de Gaia and Porto. They are doing the same in Lisbon to connect Lisbon to Setúbal, also a new bridge with a new train line, and also the new airport that will be in Setúbal. So basically, the government is investing a lot. The European Union and the Portuguese government is investing a lot because Portugal was a little bit behind in terms of infrastructure, and now the whole country is developing really, really fast. So this is why we believe in the developing areas. For most of you that are from Israel, it's like if you think about Ramat Gan, Netanya, Herzliya, years ago. So those cities were developing and they are close to Tel Aviv, but 30 years ago they were not so developed as they are today. So what we're showing you here with Setúbal, Vila Nova de Gaia, and these developing areas is exactly the same idea. Places where you can pay 2.5 thousand per square meter, and with all the developments from the government, all the investments, for sure they will grow and they will reach a bigger price per square meter in the near future. And that brings us to the smart investments strategies. So we're going to talk about different kinds of investments that our clients are doing here and that are worth checking because depending on the type of investment of the profile of the investor, you can find the type of investment that makes more sense to you. First of all, the buy to let, let's say, is the most conservative investment. It's basically buying a flat, a small flat, to generate immediate income with the rent. And we have a few examples here. On the left, you see a big building with 5 apartments that costs 800,000. So it has 300 square meters for 800,000 euros. And it's now generating 10% gross return per year. Then you have T1 in the center of Porto. This is the building is also in Porto, by the way. You have this T1 in Porto that was bought last year for 139,000, one bedroom apartment, close to 40 square meters, and it's also returning 10% gross return per year. And this one on the right, which is more recent, a T1 in the center of Porto with more or less 50 square meters, and it's rented already and generating 8% gross return to these clients. And of course, the price per square meter in Porto is also rising, as I said. So all these properties you see right now, they are much more valuable than what the clients paid. And now uh, we have here Ariel. He's one of our clients. He wants to talk a little bit about our work. So let's hear what he has to say.
Hi, my name is Ariel Almos. I've been using club services for the past 6 months with my brother-in-law. We've been working so far on 2 opportunities, one in Setúbal, another one in Porto. And our experience with club so far is really great. Very professional, super friendly, with an eye for finding the right opportunities for our budget and for our needs. We are very happy with their services and highly recommend them.
Okay, thank you, Ariel. So Ariel bought with us these 2 buildings, one in Porto, this one you see here, and this one in Setúbal, which is the developing area we talked about. So, like Ariel and like many of you are thinking, Ariel and Shai, his brother-in-law, they started with a small investment, and soon after they got to know us and how we work, they invested on the second property. Now we are already aiming for the next one. So that's how we work. We always attend the client according to his needs and whatever he's looking in terms of investment and according to his profile. And we have also here on the next slide another example, which is on the primary market. Basically, the primary market is to buy brand new apartments from the developer. So apartments that are off plan and that will be ready in the next year or the next 2 years. It's a good type of investment because the payment terms are flexible. You don't have to pay all the apartment now, of course. You can customize the apartment in many situations, and it has a strong appreciation potential before completion because Basically, we pay when we buy an apartment off plan here in Portugal, you're gonna pay something close to 20-30% less than the average price for a new apartment in this area. So here we have few examples. On the left, you see an apartment in Lisbon with 2 bedrooms that was also bought during the construction, and it's also generating 7% gross return. In the middle here, you see T1 in Porto that was bought for 185,000, and on the right, a new building in Vila Nova de Gaia, T2 apartment with 129 square meters, and it was bought by 299,000 euros. So all these properties, they are going to grow a lot in value for the next years because they were bought very close to the delivery date, but still during the construction. And the clients now are generating income from this apartment, and all these apartments, they are already much more valuable than they were when the clients bought it. And on the next slide, we're going to have here the feedback from Bella and Eris, which are the couple who bought this apartment in Lisbon. They also have another property with us in Porto as well. But this one is a luxury apartment located in Lisbon. We did all the design you see here on the images with our architect. We found the opportunity, we did the design, and we delivered to them. So let's hear what they have to say.
Hi. When you want to buy a property in a country you don't know, you are naturally apprehensive. We choose to work with Patrick and Felipe because of the many recommendations. We can now very gladly say that it was the right decision. The connection with them was immediate.
The care, amazing service, and availability made all the difference. We bought 2 properties in Lisbon and Porto, and can confidently say that it was a very good decision, and you are in a very good hands. They will be your anchor, Portugal.
Thank you, Bella and Eris. So, as I said, this is how we work, and actually, all of these clients they are available to talk with you if you want to ask about us. This is really important as well because we like when the clients talk to previous clients because this is they always have good things to say. So there's another type of investment which is the rebuilding. And this type of project is a little bit bigger, of course, because we have to identify an opportunity and do the whole renovation and make a business plan and so on. In this case, we're going to show one of the properties that we are rebuilding. It's a historic building in the center of Setúbal, and it has 6 T1 apartments. T1 is basically 1 bedroom apartments. You can see here on the left the building as it was in the beginning of the year, the building now during the renovation, and how it's going to look like in December. So it's a 1 year renovation for these 6 apartments. And for this client, we did all the business plan and all the marketing strategies to sell this property as soon as it's ready. We have also building from scratch. We are also building properties from the ground. And this case here it's actually 2 houses in Porto City Center. This one will start by next month, and there are 2 twin houses with a nice garden outside, and they're right in the middle of Porto. So these 2 properties they are really interesting because it's not easy to find the 2 bedroom and 2 floor apartments with a garden in the center of Porto. So it was really something like a gem that we found for these clients. And the 2 clients they are partners, so they really like the idea of having 2 houses nearby each other. And at last we have the fix and flip. In this case, it's an office that we bought at the time as an office, and we transformed it into a residential studio. Actually, the owner is here with us, our big friend Shahar. So this is before. You see how we bought the property last year, and this is today. We did everything. as I said, the A to Z, we found the opportunity, we did the business plan, we did the renovation, and we sold the property now. So all this process is taken care by Clav, and of course we're gonna accompany and update the client according to each phase of the development. So how do we do it? Basically, we start with the research. We find the right opportunities, and though actually this step is the hardest one, it's really difficult to find the really good opportunities. We don't work with average opportunities. We only focus on the best opportunities, and of course it will not be easy to find every day, so we have to keep looking and looking. We have a software that we pay to provide us with opportunities. We have an AI that we developed. We have also our networking here in Portugal, our the people we know here that are working with real estate as well. So when we spot the right opportunity, we go to the business plan, and in this business plan, we're gonna project all the costs and all the returns the client is expected to have, and how much it's gonna take, how we're gonna advertise, market this property, and so on. Then the third step is the license, and the license is crucial because if you buy a property that doesn't have the right licenses, it's gonna take a long time to build. You have to wait all the approvals until you actually can build something in Portugal. This is one of the reasons why the prices are still going up, because a lot of people want to build, but the bureaucracy sometimes doesn't help. So our job is to identify these opportunities with the right licenses, with all the approved projects. And of course, we have an architect that will check all these licenses at the municipality, and we will understand how much we can build, how will be the each apartment, or how it's gonna be the building. And this is really important also for the business plan, so we can know exactly how much the client is paying and how much square meter he will have after the renovation. And then the last phase is the execution. We have a execution plan, and we count with partnerships like architects, engineering, and so on to develop and to execute the project. Of course, during all this process, the client will be accompanying. We all these projects we showed to you, these clients, they never, most of them never came to Portugal to see the property, because the relationship is very based on trust, as I said. And the big differential here is that we can do everything remotely, so you don't have to spend time and money coming to Portugal. But of course, if you want to come, we're gonna love to see you here, to meet you here in Portugal, and it's gonna be a pleasure also to show you around and show you the property that you can see. So how it works for Israeli investors that are looking for invest here in Portugal, how they can get a mortgage, how they can get the financing from the bank. So the foreign investors right now, meaning if you don't have any citizenship, you only any citizenship in Europe, you only have the citizenship in Israel or outside of Europe, you can get 70% financing. Okay, sometimes it can reach 80%, sometimes, even if you are not a Portuguese citizen, but the most secure is 70%. European citizens, most of the times, can qualify to 80% financing. Okay, so if you are Portuguese, like many of the people here, because we did many of your passports, I can see a lot of names here that I remember doing the passport for you. So many of you here are Portuguese. You can get up to 80%. Okay. So right now, the Euribor, you can see here the graph here on the right. The Euribor went from 4.2% last year to close to 2% now in 2025. Probably it's gonna stay in close to 2% for the future. So right now, it's a perfect timing to invest, because from now on, the lower the interest rates, the higher the prices will be. 100% of our clients, they got approval for the mortgage. Okay, this is really important because all the clients who tried to invest in Portugal through us, they got the approval from the bank, and usually we can get more than one proposal for the clients from different banks. And then the clients have until the age of 75 to pay the mortgage. Okay, so if you are, let's say, 40 years old, you're going to have 35 years to pay the mortgage. If you're 50, you're going to have 25 years to pay the mortgage, and so on. And if we compare right now the mortgage rate between the countries, Portugal is around 2.8 because it's 2% the Euribor, but you have the other costs like the bank spread, and of course the banks add their fee to the Euribor. So right now the clients are closing a mortgage rate. This is per year, around 2.8% per year. And most of the clients, they are doing something that I think is the right choice, which is they're fixing the first 3, 4, or 5 years, you can choose. They are fixing the interest rate. So it doesn't matter what happens, they're going to pay the same installment every month during this time. This is important because these clients, they want stability. They don't want to be surprised if the interest rates go up, so they can predict the future. They can know exactly how much they're going to pay for the next 4 or 5 years, and they have a stable income from the rent, or if they decide to sell the property in 1, 2 years, the business plan is much more predictable. So this is something that I believe is very smart to do. If we compare to Cyprus, around 4% per year, Greece, 4.2% per year, Israel, 4.5% per year, and the USA, 6.8% per year. So Portugal, it's in this sense also, it's really, really interesting because the interest rates are going to stay as low as 2.5%. And even with the bank spread and all the costs, you're going to pay a very low interest to the banks. Okay. And now to finish the presentation, we're reaching the end of the presentation. So most of you are probably asking, okay, where should I invest? There are a lot of options. This is not the, let's say, the only answer that we're gonna show now. But as we told you, we want to show you a few areas that are growing, that are showing a very interesting increase per year in the price per square meter, and they are already a good place to rent. There are a lot of people that moving there. Setúbal is one of them. You can see here in the south of Lisbon. All this area is Setúbal. Okay, this is the Setúbal district, but the city of Setúbal, the historic city of Setúbal, is here. You see here the landscapes are amazing. It used to be it still is actually a fisherman village, but is developing really fast because it's 35 minutes from Lisbon and from the airport. They are building the new airport here in Alcochete, exactly here, and they are building a new bridge here. So all this area is growing really, really fast because you can live near the beach in Setúbal, and in 30, 40 minutes by car, you're going to be in the center of Lisbon. Now, with the developments the government is doing to connect the city, Setúbal, with the center of Lisbon, meaning the bridge, all the new train that will come from Setúbal. There is already a train, but there will be a new train going from Setúbal to Lisbon, and also the new airport in Setúbal, and so on. All this area is growing really, really fast. Setúbal in Lisbon right now, just as comparison, in Lisbon, in the center, so this area here of Lisbon, you're gonna pay close to 7,000 per square meter, 6,000 per square meter, something like that. In Setúbal, we are finding properties lower than 3,000 per square meter, and we have a few there, and all of them are returning at least 8% growth per year today. Plus, the price per square meter is growing close to 15%, 13, 14% every year. This is in the last 5 years, not only now. But after the government announced all these infrastructure developments, of course, everyone started to run to Setúbal to invest there. So this is also another reason why now is the time to invest in Portugal, because you have great quality of living, you are near the beach, but still It's a big city with a lot of connections, and it's gonna be even better in the near future. Okay, this is the price, uh, the price per square meter growth in Setúbal. You can see here, 10 years ago used to be 1,000 per square meter. Now the average is already a little bit over 2.5 thousand. This is the average of the city. Of course, there are best and worst areas in this area. But you can see that in the last 10 years, it went from 1,000 to 2.6, 2.7 thousand per square meter, and it's still growing really, really fast. You see, it's a stable growth. You don't see a lot of bumps. It's a very stable growth. We took this property to show you, just as an example. This one is available, by the way. If one of you is interested, you can contact us. But basically, the idea here is to show the numbers and to show an example so you can see what we think is an interesting opportunity in Setúbal. So this is the full building, this gray building you see here. Here you see a store, which is this one. It's a store. And here on the first floor, it's a T0 apartment. So the total building has near 85 square meters, and it's available for 235,000 euros. So you buy the whole building for 235,000 euros. This area is growing around 13% per year, as I said, and you can already make, if you rent the T0 and the office, you can make already 8% yield per year in this building. This is, if you put it buy today and put it to rent, you can make this 8% yield from now. But you also have the growth per square meter, so which maybe is the most important number, because in the next 5 years, this building that is right now 235, in 5 years, it's going to be close to 300, maybe even more. So the price per square meter here is around, let's say, 3,000 per square meter. And of course, we can negotiate this price. So this is not the final price. And probably you're going to pay even less than that. So this is the type of opportunity we are buying for our clients, especially the clients who like to own the whole building, because in the future you can separate this building it's already separated into two units, okay? But you can sell each unit separately in 5 years from now. And then the return is even bigger because you can sell this studio, this T0, and here on the ground floor, you can make another studio. Right now it's an office, but you can make also a studio here and sell it. So there are a lot of possibilities that you can do with this building. You can also ask the municipality to build another floor, which is a possibility. You see here, this other building already did it. So there are a lot of possibilities here with this building. And then here in Porto, we have Vila Nova de Gaia, which is all these lands on this side of the river. So here is Porto, and on this side is Gaia. So Gaia is actually the second biggest city in Portugal, loses only to Lisbon. A lot of people think Porto is the second biggest, but it's actually Gaia, because Gaia is all this, it's very big in territory, and the buildings in Gaia are much higher. So the population in Gaia is really, really big. And what I like about Gaia is that you have different ideas. You can be close to the river, you can be close to the sea, you can be in the city center, so near the shopping mall, near schools, near the train station, and so on. The government is also doing a new bridge here, and this one is already very close to finishing. They're going to finish next year. And then this new bridge will cross from Porto to Vila Nova de Gaia, and it's going to have a metro line, a new metro line. So all this area is growing a lot. Right now, we have dozens of apartments in this area because we identified the opportunity when they were building the bridge and the metro. We bought it for a very low price, and now the prices are starting to peak because the metro line will be ready by next year. So Gaia also will have the fast train, the fast train from Porto to Lisbon. It will stop in Gaia, more or less here. So the fast train will also, if you live in Gaia, you're gonna be able to go to Lisbon in 1 hour, and you also can go to Vigo in Spain in also 1 hour. This is the how the prices in Gaia are moving over the years. Also, 10 years cut also started around 1,000, but now is already close to 3.5 thousand. The thing is, Gaia is very big, so there are a lot of prices, a lot of ideas. If you want to stay close to the sea and to the river and have a nice view, you're gonna pay a much higher price. And this graph is considering all the area of Gaia. So if you go to developing areas in Gaia, and this is where this apartment is, you can find really big apartments with a good price. This one, for instance, is 235,000. It's close to the new metro line that they're building. It has 2 bedrooms plus one. The plus one is a small bedroom, usually without the windows. But you have 2 bedrooms plus one, which can be used as an office. This area in Gaia is growing 10% per year, the price per square meter. It's already possible to get their 7% yield. And as I said, the price 2.5 thousand per square meter. If you compare to the center of Porto, for instance, in the center of Porto, you're gonna pay for the same apartment, you're gonna pay 350, probably 330,000 euros. So here in Gaia, you can find very nice apartments close to schools, to universities, to the metro station, in a good renovated, usually new buildings with a balcony and so on, and you're gonna pay much less per square meter. This apartment is also available. It has 90 square meters, more or less, and it's also possible if any of you is interested in getting this opportunity. It's also possible to get it. Okay. So now we're gonna open. I see we have a lot of messages already, and I'm gonna leave to Felipe and Luisa to tell me some of the questions that you did, so I can answer them.
Yes. Patrick, just to remember the name, Barbara asked us if it's possible to buy a property under the kid's name to avoid the big tax or something like this.
Yeah. Thank you, Barbara, for the question. It's possible to buy properties in the kids' names. Okay, it's not a problem. But if you're going to get a mortgage, you need to provide the documents from your kids. The documents, I mean, the payslips, the bank statements, and so on. So if your kid has a job and everything, she can or he can get a mortgage. But if it's, let's say, a 10-year-old, if I don't know how old is your kid, but let's say they have 10-year-old, then in this case it's more complicated because they don't have the age to finish the deal, so it has to be in your name as well. But summing up, the answer is it's possible. They can do also the mortgage, but the documents for the mortgage will be in their name. If they are over 18 and you don't need the mortgage, you can buy in their name. There is no issue at all.
Okay. Barbara asked as well about the short-term rent because everything that is happening in Spain, if this can be a problem in the future.
The short term rent.
Yes, it's
Okay,
like
so okay, right now the government that won the election in Portugal is right center. In Spain, it's the left. So right now in Portugal, we just had election last Saturday, last Sunday, and the right won. The propositions from the right are the opposite. They want to allow the actually they when they took the so I will do a little summing up for you about the politics in Portugal. Basically, The left was in power since 2015 until 2024, okay, last year. The right won the elections last year, and now they did the new elections because there was a problem with the prime minister and so on. So they did a new election, and the current government won again. The government that won last year, they won again this year. I know it's complicated, but summing up, right now the government that is in power, they just won the elections, and they have no plans to stop short term. What is the current situation? There is a map in Porto and in Lisbon with the prohibited zone for Airbnb. Okay, so in these areas, you cannot get a new license. What you can do is you can buy an apartment with the license, and you can make Airbnb in this apartment because you bought it with the license. If this is only if you are in the prohibited zone. If you're not in the prohibited zone, like the center of Porto has some areas that are allowed to get Airbnb. Okay, the prohibited zone is very small. It's not very big. It's very small. It's only the old center. So in this, if you are in the center of Porto or anywhere in Porto, there is not prohibited zone. You can get a Airbnb license. Just to finish, uh, I think right now, and this is from what we see here, our experience with the current clients we have, that the midterm and the long term is returning more than the short term and without all the headache. But of course, maybe next year the short term will be better, especially now during the summer, the short term is good. But at the end of the day, you still can make short term, and I don't think the government will change that right now.
Uh, Great. Patrick, Elias asked about if you have a possibility to refinance the property post renovation.
Yes, yes, Elias, thank you for the question. It's possible. Usually you have to wait 2 years, okay, after if you got the mortgage to buy the property. Let's say I don't know if you want to take the mortgage for the first buying, but let's say you want. You buy the property with the mortgage, and you can also get a mortgage for the renovation, which is really good. Okay, so you get the full mortgage for renovation and the property. You do the renovation, and 2 years after, you can get more mortgage considering the appraisal in 2 years. If you want to do in less than 2 years, then it's not possible. Okay, you have to wait 2 years to refinance the property after the renovation. Now, there is a second option, which is you buy a property that you don't get a mortgage. You buy the property, and then you want to mortgage this property. It's possible, and they're gonna do the appraisal, and they're gonna approve something close to 70 to 80% of the mortgage of the property value, and you can receive this money in your pocket.
Great. A lot of person ask about the if we are recording the presentation, the webinar. Tomorrow we will send a newsletter with the presentation and the all the webinar recorded in the YouTube. I will send the YouTube link for you. If you'd like to watch again, I'll send it to the some friends or family. Just one question about the interest rate. Someone, just 1 second. Yes, Elias again ask about if the we can fix rate all the mortgage, or we can split this during the mortgage. And one more person asked about the what is the kind of mortgage that you can hire, like a fixed rate, mixed rate. If
Okay,
you can explain a little bit about that.
okay. So it's possible to get a fixed mortgage for the whole time of the loan. Some people like to do it, especially now that the interest rate is under the like in the lowest rate in the last 3 years. But there is also a possibility to get fixed for the first 5 years, let's say, and then variable, or you can take variable from the first day. So it's up to it depends on the profile of each client. Okay. Right now, what I recommend is you should take at least 5 years fixed because the interest rate is down. And then in 2 years from now, if the interest rate is still going down, you can renegotiate with the banks. And a lot of banks, they will offer you better fees in 2 years from now. So you have the minimum 2 years of predictability. You know exactly how much you're going to stay pay. And then after you can renegotiate this fee, this rate with the other banks and even with your own bank. Okay. And I see, and the other question. So basically, that's it. You can take the mortgage variable according to the Euribor every 3 months or every 6 months. It's gonna update. You can take the mixed, which is you choose to fix for the first 3 years, 5 years, whatever. You fix the same interest rate and you pay exactly the same, which I think right now is the best option. And then you have the fixed rate during the whole time, which depending, it can be a good idea, but it's up to you to decide.
Great. Yaron asked about the building in Setúbal because the store is in the it's a service and the studio is in a habitation. How it's they can get a mortgage to buy this if this can avoid something?
Yeah, I saw here the question. Basically, like we said in the chat, you can buy the whole building, but in this case, the mortgage will be only considering the residential unit because the mortgage cannot be on the commercial unit. What we can do, and we did it already, is we define a price for the residential unit. Let's say the building is 235, right? We can buy the studio for 200,000 and the office for 35,000. And the owner usually accepts so that the bank will do the mortgage over the 200,000 of the residential and you pay in cash the commercial. There's another option, which is you can buy a building that is 100% residential and you don't have to worry about the situation.
Great. Barbara asked us about the what is the difference in the tax if you rent in short term and if you rent in the long term, and if you can get a mortgage to do some renovations in the property.
Yeah, the mortgage it's possible to do renovations, and the difference in taxes. So in Portugal, there are only two options. One of them is you rent for less than 5 years and you pay 25% tax. If you rent for more than 5 year contract, you pay 15% tax. Okay. The third option is if you do Airbnb, you pay a fixed of 6% VAT. Okay, but then you have to get the license, you have to open activity, and have other costs. So at the end of the day, what you have to understand is the either Airbnb or contract for midterm or long term, you're gonna have a fixed cost between 35% with the 35-40% with the management, with the income tax, all the costs you're gonna have, the condominium, etc. All the costs, our fee to manage the property, etc. It's gonna be between 35 and 40%. Doesn't matter if you do for 1 month or 1 year. The difference is if you rent for more than 5 years, it's gonna reduce a lot by 10% because instead of 25% tax, you pay only 15% tax.
Okay. Fabio asked us if you have a office in Gaia and if it's possible to meet there. We have the office in Lisbon and in Porto, and you can meet you anywhere. And about the if you are not in Portugal, it's not possible to meet in the office, but you send email for to everyone. If you'd like to do a meeting with me and Patrick, we will be available this week, next week. I will send you the invitation, and you can do a personal meeting with who is interested to talk about real estate in Portugal. Patrick, Elias asked us as well what is the gross yield, and if it's better to invest through a people, a personal person, or through a company.
The gross yield of what? I don't get it. The building?
The building or the average of the properties that we have.
Okay, usually, Elias, the gross yield that we look for is a minimum 7%. Of course, if this area is growing a lot, maybe starting with 6% is not a bad idea because you buy it in the low price, you make 6%, but it has a huge potential for the future. So the second question about what was the question again? Sorry.
If it's better to invest through a personal account
Okay.
or through a company.
Okay. The company, if you do through a company, you cannot do a mortgage. This is important. So if you're planning to get a mortgage, it has to be as a single person. This is the first thing. Second thing, the company has a lot of costs. Usually, to be worth to create to open a company to invest with a company, you have to have money from your pocket because you cannot get a mortgage ever. What you can do is a loan, but the loan is going to be much more expensive. It's going to be like 10, 11% instead of 3%. So if you open a company, usually we recommend to clients who already have 3 or 4 properties and they have their own capital, which is we have some cases here. But if you are planning to invest with a mortgage, it has to be single person.
Great. Elias asked as well if in the gross wealth it's included our management and the local tax.
So yeah, basically when I say let's say 8% gross yield, the net will be around 60% of that. The 40% is cost. So 40% will be income tax, our fees to manage, the condominium, the all the taxes you have to pay, etc. If you rent for more than 5 years, which a lot of clients are doing right now, actually, then you only have 30% of costs in total instead of 40 because you pay less income tax. Okay. So again, from all the money you get, when I say gross yield, let's say you put in your pocket 1,000 euros from the rent. Okay. After you pay everything, you're gonna be left with 600. But this could be 700 if you make 5 year contract. Okay. The tax you only pay once a year. So you're going to receive all the money throughout the year, which is good because you can invest this money throughout the year. And you pay the taxes only by August of the following year. Okay. So this is the income tax. And the other costs you pay every month. So basically, from the 8% gross, you're going to be left in your pocket with something close to 4.5 or 5% net.
Great. Guys, all the question was done, was answered. Thank you everyone to be here today. It was a pleasure. Tomorrow I will send to you a newsletter with the YouTube link, with the presentation, with all the highlights of the webinar today. And if you'd like to do a meeting with me and Patrick, just answer the email that we will find a good time to do this meeting. And if you'd like to start, Patrick will present now what you need to do.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We really, really wanted to be in Tel Aviv right now to see all of you and to shake hands. But we're gonna go soon. And so if you want to start investing in Portugal, or if you want to talk to us, do a meeting with us to understand better, just send us, you can fill the form in our website, or you can reply to the email that we sent today. And we're gonna be in touch to schedule a meeting to understand what you're looking for and how we can help you. Okay? Thank you very much, and we're gonna keep in touch. I hope to see you guys soon.
Bye bye, guys. Have an
Thank you. Bye
amazing
bye.
afternoon. Bye bye.